Yeah. Would get a little worse, though, if Triple H has something to say about it, because Triple H is like, all right, it's on, but you stay in the ring, big man. And then Big Show's music hits. And yet again, we get Big Show versus Roman Reigns.
And yet again, I completely stopped caring.
Yeah, really.
Just in general, I don't care. Everybody, and the really, really backwards thing is, this is the point where I stopped caring because, John, everybody knows Roman Reigns is going to win, right?
Yeah, only in this case, no.
Yeah, which is, and I don't think that they even sold this as much as they should have. This is, and I'm not joking you, this is Roman Reigns' first loss as a singles competitor. Tell you what, before I say it, see if you can guess, John. When was the last time Roman Reigns lost as a singles competitor?
Dude, I can't even figure it. I don't even know, dude.
It was
That's
in
how long it's been.
FCW.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was in like May of 2012 in FCW was the last time Roman Reigns lost in a singles match.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. He was undefeated in NXT, and he's never lost a singles match on the main roster.
Wow.
I mean, he's been pinned before in six-man tags, but he's never lost a singles match on the main roster. And I think he's only ever been pinned like 3 times on the main roster.
Dude, that is insanity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these two, I'm not even going to go, point for point with this match.
No, I mean, it's a friggin' Big Show match, but nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. Rollins hits Reigns in the back with his briefcase. Big Show capitalizes with a chokeslam. So it's kind of like Rollins, planting the seeds of doubt in Reigns, gaining that momentum, that psychological edge, assuming that he will face Reigns at Fastlane. And, Big Show does get the win, and Rollins is just screaming at Reigns, it's going to be me going to the main event at WrestleMania. All that sign pointing, it's legit. So Big Show gets the win. And then we see Triple H and Stephanie backstage. I mean, they're not really cackling that their plan's coming together, but it's definitely like a mutual admiration side. They're so proud of themselves that they got this off the ground.
And then they reveal their entire evil plot to the world on camera.
I know, right? It's like, I don't understand why heels never think that through, and more importantly, why there's never any backlash against them for it. It's really just like, we didn't even have to mention stripping Reigns of his title shot at WrestleMania, and people probably don't even know that they can't contractually even do that, but we're doing it, man. We're putting it in motion. And, yeah, Stephanie, I think she's the one that kind of probes about the Steve Austin podcast later tonight. Triple H says, Austin can ask whatever he wants because he'll manipulate Austin just like he manipulated everybody in that ring. They kind of Eskimo kiss, which I'll admit kind of made me cringe a little bit because I'm like, wow, that's a little awkward. And JBL says that's beautiful. And so that's that. And then we go to our next segment. You already kind of touched on this, Ashton. It's Curtis Axel. Finally, Axel Gate is being addressed. Comes out with a microphone. He says, don't turn the channel because I have something to say. I never got eliminated from the Rumble. If I hadn't gotten sucker punched from behind, I would have won. And I want justice. He hits
Which is hilarious because that's something that Roman Reigns used to say.
Yeah, and then I love this part because Axel is just so delightfully awkward.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like in that same Otunga vein that I consider Curtis Axel like a guilty pleasure, which is ironic because the two guys were tag champions together, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And then he says, and I want something else. Watch this. And he goes to the corner and he points to the WrestleManias.
That was so good.
Watch out, we got a badass over here. I want my match with Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, oh my God, better than perfect. But then Dean Ambrose comes out and he gets a nice pop. Mm-hmm. He hits the ring. They brawl for a little bit, but when I say brawl, I mean in the loosest sense of the term. Because then Ambrose just throws Axel over the top rope, and then he gets the mic and he says, "Now you're eliminated." Yeah. And it was like, we're going to segue into my promo time now. Because he says,
that was another thing, too. Earlier on in the night when Roman Reigns was just like, it's been one versus all this whole time. Nothing's going to change from here. I just imagine Dean Ambrose in the back watching television with a single tear running down his face.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I was there for you, Roman. Why do you forget me in your toughest of times?
Oh, I know. The hurt. It's so real. But Ambrose does talk about being at WWE headquarters last week and seeing a wall of great Intercontinental champions. Ambrose says, hey, I take a good mugshot, and my face would look great on that wall. Ambrose says...
2 women squealing.
I know, those Tumblr fangirls. Ambrose says he pinned Bad News Barrett 2 weeks ago, and he deserves a shot. Ambrose says he's got some bad news, and I'm not even going to try and imitate his imitation. He's coming after that title and is going to be on the wall at WWE headquarters. Kind of a weird motivation.
John, do your impression of Bad News Barrett. No. Dean Ambrose's version of your impression of Bad News Barrett.
It's so much pressure. So yeah, I'm going to be on the wall at WWE headquarters. You shoot for those stars, Dean. Axel, before that, Ambrose tells us to strap in with him on the road to WWE Fastlane. Then Axel runs back in and nails Ambrose. And then he's like, you want to interrupt me? But of course, Ambrose... You want to know
why?
Why is that?
Because it's the beginning, starting now, of the genesis of McGillicuddy.
I can't even handle all this right now. It's so much Axel exposure.
Do you actually remember that promo?
Yes. How does anyone even forget that promo?
I actually have the transcript here. It's starting this moment, from now, from this moment on, this will be the moment, starting now, of the genesis of McGillicuddy. I don't know about you, but I was totally a McGilla buddy.
Dude, I don't know, man. Curtis Axel, he gets my vote. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, maybe him attacking Ambrose, I don't know if he's going to take up issue with, and I'm not trying to do any wild speculation, but I don't know if he's going to take up issue with Ambrose interrupting his moment, and maybe we'll see a triple threat over the IC title, because it is...
That would actually be awesome.
I mean, it is a picture where Axel could actually fit, right? So, I mean, that's just kind of my thought process.
He would definitely seem out of place against Ambrose and Barrett, though.
Yeah, definitely. But
I mean, say what you want about the Intercontinental Championship, but when you're in there with 2 guys of that caliber, he's definitely going to look out of place.
But let me ask you something, and I wanted to ask you this before we moved on to our next segment.
Yeah.
As kind of the Dean Ambrose, big time in between the two of us, are you, both objectively and subjectively, I mean, do you like this, that he's going after Bad News Barrett in the IC title? Did you picture something bigger for him for this WrestleMania?
I'll tell you what, right now, if this match is what it takes for Dean Ambrose and the Intercontinental Championship to have a spot on the WrestleMania card, I'm all for it. And I would definitely prefer this to him being in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah, definitely.
But that being said, it still feels like a demotion.
And see, that was kind of my thought process. On one hand, I was excited because I like both guys, right? And I love the idea that the Intercontinental Championship gets a spotlight. But when you consider that Dean Ambrose was a part of the Shield, and I mean, not that they had these really significant spots in the 2 Manias they did together, but you figure their first one they went against Big Show, Randy Orton,
well, no, but see, that's
Sheamus.
the thing, though, John. What people don't seem to realize is that if you are on WrestleMania, it's a significant spot. If you are in a match, put it this way, the fewer people involved in the match that you are in WrestleMania, the bigger a deal it is.
Yeah, and see, that's kind of where the scales, I think, even out, because like you said, this is definitely preferential to him being in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, because presumably it'll be him and Barrett in that IC title. No reason to think it'll be anybody else. So...
Well, and even if they would, like, if it ended up being those 2 guys and Cesaro in a triple threat, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it would kill. It would absolutely own, and I just think that's putting a lot of trust, and Ambrose trust that has certainly been earned given his main event programs with Rollins.
But again, though,
Wyatt, so.
we're kind of jumping the shark here in assuming that just because these guys are getting into a program that means they're going to get a spot on Mania.
That's true. I mean, they could really settle it at Fastlane, and Ambrose could be doing something else. But at least we kind of know what he's
not even necessarily just that.
Right.
But, I mean, just because they don't settle it at Fastlane still doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get a a separate match at WrestleMania. They could still end up both being in the Memorial Battle Royal.
That is true.
And they just kind of have a spot in there where they, one of them throws the other one out and eliminates him, and then the other guy grabs the other guy from the outside and pulls him out to eliminate him, and they brawl out of the ring.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point there. But you know what? I think that we'll have future conversations about that as more comes into focus. For now, at least we know what Ambrose's next goal is.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to figure out when the last time was that the Intercontinental Championship got defended at WrestleMania, and I kind of feel like it was the JBL Mysterio match.
No, I remember Cody Rhodes and Big Show had.
Was that at Mania, though?
Was it yeah, they had a Mania match over it, because remember, Cody Rhodes always used to say the Big Show embarrassed himself, but it wasn't that at, like, WrestleMania 29, I want to say?
That's right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
that might have been was it at 29 or 28? I think it might have been 29. That was,
I want to say 29.
Was that dashing Cody Rhodes?
No, I think that was like mashed remove Cody Rhodes, kind of like liberated Cody Rhodes. Not necessarily dashing, but just really like confident, want to make the Intercontinental title prestigious kind of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, no, that wasn't at 29, because at 29 was Ms. Barrett.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, that would have been the last Intercontinental Championship match. My mistake, because we didn't get one at 30, right? So
yeah. For some reason I had it in my head that the Intercontinental Championship was like the Divas Championship and just was never defended at WrestleMania.
Right.
But I guess it has been, actually, because, yeah, you're right. And then Big Show beat Cody Rhodes at Mania, and that was the Intercontinental Championship. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess my thing is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal kind of absorbed, I believe, both mid-card titles this past year, and I don't want to see that happen again.
Right.